Hey everyone, I want to tell you about how to avoid a copyright strike. And so I did the research. I started looking at Reddit, I started looking at um, Google, I started looking at ChatGPT. Essentially, well, all the threads will get you to because starting this channel, I wanted to make sure I didn't want to put all the time and investment into something that would eventually get copyright striked. And then after, I believe, a number of strikes, I think it's 3 strikes, your channel goes away completely and gets completely removed. Now, I've never been in that situation, but it seems very nerve wracking, I think, for people going into the space and wondering about if there's a chance of them getting completely removed. So, the only surefire way is, and I know this sounds a little silly, but so it's 100%, you can't use any copyright material. Now, so it seems simple, which is good. The downside about that is apparently there's a lot of things that are copyright material. So, one of my thoughts was I would kind of comment on some shows that I'm watching. Started watching Scooby Doo with my mom and kind of wanted to go through the episodes, talk a little bit about my reactions. Not show the videos, but kind of show screenshots of the episodes and kind of go through that. And apparently that's copyright infringement. So you can't really do, you can do reviews, but it's very vague in the law, the fair use doctrine, to have some kind of criticism that uh, adds new meaning to the work. And so I guess in a way doing reaction videos does kind of uh, bring something new to it, but it's debatable. And rather than putting yourself in that position, what I have seen people successfully do is they've been able to kind of put up clips and then they've been able to talk about it from, let's say, like for lots of philosophical perspective or from like a therapy perspective, what they've learned from this movie or from this TV show or episode. But I've also seen other cases, and I imagine you've seen other cases too, and this is why you're clicking on this video, of people kind of um, spreading these myths of if you only put in less than 5 seconds worth of content, then you're less likely to get identified, which is true by the content ID on YouTube. They're probably less likely to catch you in an automated way if you put only a few seconds, like 2 to 3 seconds. But legally speaking, it's still copyright infringement. So the best thing you can do is use all your own material. And so going through that, that's where I've been kind of spending this week. It's been a little bit challenging because I started looking at, okay, so what can I put safely? And there is material out there that you can use, like there's free music and there's free images as well, or fair use or kind of Creative Commons licensed material. For each of those, you would still have to, in many cases, credit the people. And what I want to do is I want to really put on my content as quickly as possible and try to lower the barriers, essentially. It's very similar to like exercise. You want to make it as easy as possible for you so that it stops you from kind of making excuses and then overall just kind of giving up on it. So in that sense, what I'm doing is all my images you'll see here, they're all going to be generated by ChatGPT. And I looked into that, so anything I use from ChatGPT, I am able to kind of put it onto these videos. So that makes it a lot simpler. So anytime I talk about a topic or anything that I show will be like my avatar, the background, in this case, the thumbnail, the picture that will be the thumbnail. All of that's just going to be ChatGPT generated images. And so that way it's not coming from anyone. I don't have to credit anyone for the images. Music I tend not to use just because I tend to base most of my videos, or I like my style to be more talkative in a sense. But with that said, if you're here in the video, you know that the only way to fully prevent a copyright strike is by not using copyright material. Otherwise, you run the risk of your channel getting taken down. You run the risk of, let's say, some company that is the true owner of it flagging you. It might be their legal team, whoever it may be. Like let's say it's Disney, or let's say it's some other company, and they just and their lawyers see that you're using their material. Let's say your channel gets big enough and then it gets stopped. Now you might say that you've seen other channels probably do this without any issues. So I have some channels that I do like to watch, like Grandline Review. He likes to review a lot of anime, and so I like watching his videos. There's also Oxhorn, who does a lot of commentary on Fallout, and he'll show a lot of clips of the Fallout episodes, so he'll throw in pictures. And that's why I thought pictures, that's not too bad, because um, I see him doing it all the time. But generally speaking, it is uh, it is something that you could get legally struck down for. So just best to avoid it altogether, at least for now, unless you get explicit permission. And that might be the case. Someone you know or someone you watch might have permission. We don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, or maybe they just haven't been caught. But rather than run the risk, best not to use it at all. So I went down the hurdles so you don't have to go down those same hurdles. Like I said, if you do want to make videos, you could try to follow my style of it, which is my approach is going to be using just ChatGPT. I do have their pro account, so it's about $20 a month. I recommend it only for myself, only because I like to generate images from it, and then I use it pretty regularly as well. But apart from that, I try to keep it as simple as possible. So that's all there is to it. If you don't want a copyright strike, just don't use any copyrighted material, which are images, music, really anything, or even trying to create characters that look similar to them. So, because I thought about this too, I was like, oh, maybe I can make a ChatGPT Shaggy and Scooby and all those characters. But if you make it off their likeness, that also counts as copyright. So probably don't do that. But thank you so much for watching.